What's up, guys? We just got a new update that has received an insane amount of cool content. So I'm really happy about this update. I feel like this is honestly the best update we've gotten in years, and I can't wait to review all of it with you. Let's get into it. So, IGG, for the past two updates, added stuff that the community wasn't really happy about, this glyph set and the fish hero. And they just came out with an update that has so much amazing stuff, and you can tell they're listening to the community based on what they're adding. It's stuff that we've been asking for, so I'll review all of that in this video. Starting with the battle pass, of course. It has equipment shards for the new pistol equipment, which I'll review later, of course. It has mementos for the fish hero, and the avatar is an animated costume avatar, which the community has been asking for forever. This is a costume avatar for the new Spirit Steward costume. It's really cool in my opinion. I feel like this will be a fan favorite easily. And the hero shards at the end are fish shards. So really good battle pass. I recommend it if you want the avatar or the fish hero. Now, I would love still if they did, like, for the costume shop, they did avatars, like an avatar costume shop, so like we can get more than just one every 48 days. That would be really cool, but this is still a step in the right direction. Next, we have 3 new costumes, which 3 is a lot, so I'm really happy about that. They're for Bellaboom. I originally saw this and I thought this was for Rose Duelist, but this is Bellaboom. The reason I'm excited for this is because this costume, while it is amazing, did not have unique skill animations. So I can't wait to see what this one does. I think this skill itself is like one of the coolest skills in the game, so I can't wait to see it. Next, we have Spirit Steward, which this one is amazing. I love this one. It's a huge comeback for this costume, which not many people liked, but I've said this time and time again, whoever designs costumes at IGG, we need to give them a raise because they usually do an amazing job. And lastly, look at this costume. Are we kidding? Now, here's the catch with this costume. This costume was submitted in the costume design contest. We never received an update really from IGG on like what they're going to do with the results, but here's our answer, I guess. They added a costume that was submitted in the costume design contest. And I am sure people will love this one. Look at that. That's really cool. I would be awestruck if this skill was like lava. Imagine how cool that would be. So those are the costumes. Huge fan of all of them. We did not get an enchant skill for the new hero, so we have to wait another 48 days. I usually get frustrated when they do that because it's really annoying waiting forever. But I'm not that frustrated this time because the update is amazing. So next we have the new equipment. I can never fully tell how good equipment is upon release because we can't see the empowered skill. And these are the stats at green, not at gold. So based on this, I will give an assessment of this skill. But just like I said, I can't fully tell you how good I think it is. So the skill, when equipped, fires rapidly at the current target every 15 seconds, dealing 50% attack damage. So it deals damage, nothing too special. This reduces damage dealt by the target by 20% and reduces their healing received by 20% for 5 seconds. So it does damage, but it also has defensive application. It reduces damage on the target you're attacking. Additionally, there is a 30% chance that the target will lose 2% of their base HP every second for 5 seconds. If you know me and you watch my videos, you know that reading that pisses me off. Everything related to base HP is pretty much useless. And not only that, I tell IGG that every time they add something with that. So I'm a bit confused. And usually I would go on a 5-minute rant, but I'm not surprised, and I'm also not pissed at them because they added a lot of good stuff this update. So essentially this equipment does damage every few seconds, and it reduces damage the target deals that you're attacking. Nothing too special in my opinion, but like I said, we don't know what stats this equipment has, and we don't know the empowered skill. When we find that stuff out, I might make a separate video reviewing this in full. Oh, last thing on the equipment, just the fact that it's a pistol, I think is really cool. All this equipment is usually like medieval stuff: bow, axe, hammer, sword. I like that this is a pistol. It's really cool. I was always hoping they would add like a gun or a wand, and they added a pistol, so that's awesome. Next, we have the new glyph set. Now, this glyph set sounds amazing, but there is a catch. First off, it's blue. That's cool. It's also square, triangle, and circle, which is the most overpowered combination of shapes in the game, in my opinion. The circle and triangle are the most frequent shapes that appear on a hero's setup. So it's going to be really easy to fit into pretty much any hero, I imagine. Let's start with the circle. Beach volleyball. When the hero is deployed, they gain a beach volleyball barrier that lasts for 9 seconds every 35 seconds. When taking skill damage, the barrier has a 70% chance to block damage and restore 70% of the damage taken as HP. This restoration effect can be triggered once every 2 seconds. So my initial reaction to this glyph is that it's really OP, but I can tell from reading this that it's only going to be good at gold resonance. As is, without any resonance, this lasts for 9 seconds, and it triggers every 2 seconds. So within that 9-second window, you can only block 4 instances of skill damage. Now you might be thinking, oh, that's 4 Zafan skills. That's still pretty good. There's a 70% chance, and who's to say, let's say the Officer Reindeer in the offensive bastion hits you with a skill. Then it triggers this, and next thing you know, Zafan skill penetrates it and goes through. It's hard to guarantee that it's going to tank 4 Zafan skills. Obviously, that's the only skill in the game that we really need to absorb damage from. But what I do see happening is if you get this to gold resonance, all of a sudden it doesn't last for 9 seconds. It lasts for like 15, and the cooldown is like 30 or something. I could see that being really good, especially for a tier 1 glyph. If you want to go read Animalast Insight, it honestly reminds me a lot of that. Good glyph for a tier 1, that's for sure. Next we have the triangle, beach sandals. When a hero activates a skill, kicks beach sandals at the 2 nearest enemy heroes, dealing 73% attack damage and reducing healing received by 1 target with the lowest HP. Now, I don't think this glyph is good personally. It's not awful. Like, if you get this glyph set for the set itself, yeah, this glyph will have some effect, but as a standalone glyph, I don't think this glyph is that good. This glyph, it's like a mixture of this glyph and this glyph, but if you look at it, it does half the amount of damage that this glyph does, and it doesn't reduce HP like this glyph does. This glyph reduces HP by 1 target. This glyph reduces HP by every target hit by a skill. I don't see it being a replacement for either of those glyphs. I don't see it really being used as a standalone glyph, unlike Zafan. Maybe it is, but Zafan already reduces healing with his skill. He doesn't really need a glyph that does that. It's not that great in my opinion. It's okay. If you're going to get the glyph for the glyph set, it's going to do some work, that's for sure. Next we have the tier 3 glyph, Beach Straw Hat. It has hit rate, which I think is, whenever I see hit rate and dodge on a glyph, I'm not really satisfied with that. I don't think hit rate is that useful at the top level. When the deployed hero takes damage that exceeds their max HP by 40%, they put on a beach straw hat, ensuring their HP does not drop below 1 for the next 5 seconds. When I read this glyph, immediately I thought, they're renaming immortality as something else, so that immortality from this glyph cannot be affected by Pangoli or Djinni. Because what this glyph does is it gives you immortality, basically. It's giving you immortality, but it's not called immortality. So it doesn't get affected but by the things that remove immortality. This effect can trigger 2 times per battle, and while triggered, 70% of the damage they take will be inflicted on some enemies within a surrounding area. So it does reflect damage while you are immortal, basically. I think this glyph is really good. It looks pretty solid for defense. The main catch here that I am worried about is this glyph and this glyph both look like buffs to me. And if Penth Divine can remove these buffs from a hero, or this glyph can remove the buffs, I worry that this glyph set actually sucks, honestly. Matter of fact, if I bought this glyph set and then found out that Penth Divine removed it, I'd be really pissed, because those are the 2 selling points of this glyph set so far, and they do appear to me to be buffs. Now, I can't confirm that. We have to test. But personally, I'm not going to invest in this glyph set until I see another top player test that for me. But let's continue on to the set bonus. When the deployed hero takes damage 15 times, IGG loves that opener. They used it with this glyph and they used it with the fish hero. So they love that effect. When they take damage 15 times, creates a chill summer field centered on themselves that lasts for 10 seconds. It reminds me a lot of this set bonus. Increases damage dealt by allies by 20%. Enemy heroes that take damage that exceed their max HP by 20% will have their damage reduction ignored by allies. That sounds really OP to me, but I'll get into why it's not as good as it sounds in a second. Additionally, there's a 40% chance to reset their skill cooldown to its initial state. So the key thing here is when you take damage, you create an area effect on your hero that makes it so enemies have no damage reduction, basically. But why that doesn't sound as good as someone might think is it's essentially really good on offense. Of course, it can work on defense, but on offense, you really want to reduce damage reduction. How do you take damage 15 times on offense when you're invincible from Glory Priestess? I don't see that. Like, Glory Priestess Divine, after you use it 4 times, it lasts like 48 seconds. I don't think this glyph set will get value for nearly a minute while Glory Priestess is active. Of course, after the fact, it can, but the outcome of the battle is usually decided within those 48 seconds, not after. So I do question just how good this actually will be. And as well, this 40% chance to reset skill cooldown, that does sound good on paper if you're trying to really kill a Penth or a Shadow Beast. But those heroes usually have Halloween Star, and essentially it's a 40% chance to add like 6 seconds to their active skill cooldown. It sounds okay. I don't think it's like that OP or game changing. It could help you kill a hero. In my opinion, the infant set debuff from this set is actually better at killing those heroes, but this could be useful as well. And you can tell there's incentive to use this on offense because they also gave it skill damage and crit rate. I think it's a really good set overall. The big catch for me is whether these are buffs that Penth Divine will remove. If they are, then all the defensive bonus these glyphs give is useless for like 50 seconds or however long Penth Divine lasts for. So we'll see in time. But I do think it's a good set. I think this set bonus, there's a way to make it OP somehow. If you can make your hero take damage and then that hero puts all the enemies in that area effect and they don't have damage reduction, that's going to do a lot of damage. I also wonder if this works on Guild Boss, and next thing you know, Guild Boss is dying again in 5 seconds. Oh, it also might work on Battle Royale. Who knows? We'll see. Seems like a good set. So last thing this update had is if you go to a, this wasn't in the update notes, but if you go to a defensive base, you can no longer see the defensive glyph setup, which is what myself, my guildmates, and some of my friends asked for. I think it's a healthy change for defense. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to make a separate video on that change because some people are really happy about it. Other people are not so happy. I'm going to make a separate video explaining why I think that change is necessary, as well as why it's so healthy for the game. I think it's a really good thing for the game. Some people don't think so. I'm just going to give my 2 cents in a separate video. I don't want to like ramble for another 10 minutes on that point in this video, but I'll make a separate video on that. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about the update. I'm really excited most, I think, for the new costumes and the new equipment. Can't wait to see the empowered skill. We'll figure that out in the coming weeks, I think. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy the update just as much as I do. And shout out to IGG for coming through with this. When is the last time they did equipment, 3 costumes, and a new glyph set all in one? It's been like years. So really excited. Hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for watching.